The greatest deception in history is that money is scarce. In truth, it flows like a sacred river through the energy of your being. This audiobook unveils how your consciousness shapes the wealth you attract and how to finally tune in to that infinite current. Money Energy. Introduction. In the silent rhythm of the cosmos, money is not a thing, but a current, an invisible stream of sacred energy flowing through the fabric of creation. It moves not by effort or transaction, but by resonance, responding only to the frequency you emit. What you see as coins, bills, or numbers are merely shadows, symbols of a deeper ancient power that dances just beyond the veil of the visible world. The sages of old knew this truth. Wealth is not earned. It is summoned. It is energy, crystallized into form by consciousness, in alignment with divine law. Those who have walked the path of true abundance did not chase riches. They became vessels through which prosperity naturally flowed. In their stillness, in their knowing, the universe opened its vaults. You were taught to believe money is scarce, to grasp for it, compete for it, fear its absence. But this illusion is the great barrier. Scarcity is not real. It is an energetic distortion that clouds the flow of abundance. Wealth, in its essence, is infinite, eternal, awaiting your remembrance. Like a tuning fork to a celestial song, your energy must be attuned to receive the signal of prosperity. This is the secret guarded through generations. Money energy does not respond to striving, but to inner calibration. Align your mind, your heart, your spirit, and the river of abundance begins to flow through you. Your relationship with money is not physical, it is vibrational. Each thought you think, each feeling you nurture, echoes into the field and shapes what flows back to you. Prosperity is your birthright, your natural rhythm. To live in lack is not your destiny. It is a sign that you have simply forgotten the frequency of who you truly are. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Hidden Nature of Wealth. Chapter 1. The Great Deception. In a small village nestled among ancient hills, Samuel the blacksmith toiled daily at his forge. While crafting coins for the local merchants, he noticed something peculiar. Each batch seemed to carry a different quality, though made from the same metal. On days when his spirit soared with joy, the coins gleamed with an unusual brightness, and traders reported swift circulation of these pieces. Yet when he worked while troubled or fearful, those coins appeared dull, and merchants complained they sat heavy in their purses, rarely changing hands. This simple observation unveiled a profound truth. Money itself is pure energy, shaped by the consciousness that creates and exchanges it. The physical form, whether metal, paper, or digital, serves merely as a vessel for this vital force that responds to human awareness. Throughout history, a carefully maintained illusion has kept humanity viewing money as scarce material substance rather than infinite energy. This deception serves those who understand money's true nature, allowing them to accumulate vast wealth while others struggle in artificial limitation. The masses chase paper and metal, unaware that true abundance flows through energetic channels responding to consciousness itself. In the bustling markets of an ancient city, Ezra the merchant discovered this truth through his daily trades. When fear gripped his heart about meeting his family's needs, customers haggled fiercely and sales dwindled. But on days when he stood in quiet confidence, knowing himself as a channel for abundance, the same goods seemed to sell themselves. His prices remained unchanged, Yet the flow of money responded not to external circumstances but to his internal state, just as Ezra's experience revealed. Your own financial reality mirrors your energetic relationship with wealth. Every belief you hold about money creates a field that either welcomes or repels abundance. When you view money as scarce, you energetically push away the very prosperity you seek. But when you recognize yourself as part of the infinite flow of abundance, you naturally attract greater financial opportunities. To begin shifting your relationship with money's true nature, practice this ancient technique. Each morning, find a quiet moment and hold a single coin in your palm. Close your eyes and feel its weight, its texture. Contemplate its journey through countless hands, carrying stories of exchange, value, and human connection. Sense the energy it holds, not just as metal, but as a symbol of the endless flow of abundance moving through all life. Affirm silently, I am one with the infinite current of prosperity. Through me, abundance flows freely. Maintain this meditation for 10 minutes, allowing your consciousness to align with money's true energetic nature. Chapter 2. The Frequency of Prosperity. In a quiet corner of a bustling market square, Martha's small shop drew curious glances from passers-by. As her needle wove through delicate fabrics, she discovered something extraordinary. When she hummed certain melodies while working, customers seemed drawn like moths to flame, eagerly paying premium prices for her creations. Other tunes appeared to empty her shop entirely, leaving her alone with her threads and thoughts. Through patient observation, Martha noticed that prosperous days coincided with specific notes and harmonies. The higher, lighter tones brought wealthy merchants seeking fine garments, while lower, discordant sounds kept even regular customers at bay. The coins that filled her purse sang their own song, one of abundance and flow. Money itself resonates at precise frequencies, vibrating in harmony with universal energy patterns. Those who naturally attract wealth maintain personal vibrations that match these prosperous frequencies. Meanwhile, others unknowingly broadcast energetic patterns that clash with abundance, creating interference that deflects financial flow. In the fertile valleys beyond the city walls, Thomas tended his fields with ancient wisdom passed down through generations. His grandfather had taught him sacred melodies to sing while planting, songs that made seeds sprout stronger and fruits grow sweeter. When Thomas remembered to sing these harmonious tunes, his crops flourished abundantly. But on days when anger or worry silenced his songs, the same soil yielded withered plants and meager harvests. The earth responded not to Thomas's physical efforts alone, but to the vibrational frequencies he created through his songs and emotional state. His experience mirrors the universal principle that material abundance manifests in harmony with energetic frequencies. Just as plants responded to Thomas's songs, financial prosperity flows naturally to those who maintain vibrational alignment with wealth consciousness. To align your personal frequency with the vibration of abundance, practice this sacred technique. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and begin to hum or chant the sound AUM, letting the ancient syllable resonate through your entire being. As you continue for 5 minutes, visualize brilliant golden light filling your body from crown to feet. This combination of sound and visualization attunes your energy field to the same prosperity frequency that mystics have accessed throughout the ages. Through regular practice, you naturally begin to broadcast the vibrational signature that attracts rather than repels financial flow. Chapter 3. The Forgotten Merchants. In the bustling markets of ancient trade routes, Benjamin moved among the stalls with his precious cargo of exotic spices. While other merchants haggled frantically over prices, Benjamin had learned a different approach from the desert nomads who guided his caravans across vast expanses of sand. These wise travelers taught him to perceive the invisible threads of energy that connected buyer and seller. "Watch how the great merchants stand still amidst chaos," the eldest nomad had told him. "They are not merely selling goods. They are masters of the unseen currents that flow between all things." Through patient observation, Benjamin discovered that successful trades occurred not when he pushed his wares aggressively, but when he aligned himself with these subtle energetic streams. He learned to sense the optimal moments for transactions, understanding that commerce was a sacred dance of energy exchange. Throughout history, the most prosperous merchants shared this hidden knowledge. From the Silk Road traders to the Venetian merchants, their true mastery lay not in clever bargaining, but in their ability to direct and channel the cosmic forces of abundance. These masters understood that wealth moved along fixed pathways in the universe, like great rivers of golden light, accessible to those who knew how to tap into their flow. In a distant port city, Rebecca inherited her grandmother's textile shop along with a curious set of practices. Before opening each morning, her grandmother had performed specific rituals, arranging coins in particular patterns, whispering ancient words over fabric, and burning sacred herbs as she counted the day's earnings. Initially skeptical, Rebecca honored these traditions out of respect. Yet soon she noticed that days when she performed the rituals brought mysteriously abundant sales, while days she rushed past them yielded meager returns. Her grandmother's ledgers revealed consistent patterns of prosperity that defied ordinary business logic. These stories illuminate the timeless truth that commerce operates on multiple levels: the visible exchange of goods and the invisible exchange of energy. Just as Benjamin and Rebecca discovered, every financial transaction carries energetic implications that can be consciously directed. To harness these principles in your own life, practice this ancient ritual of multiplication. Each evening, hold your wallet or purse in both hands. Express genuine gratitude to the money it contains, acknowledging its role in supporting your life's journey. Then, speaking with quiet authority, request that it multiply as it circulates through your experience. This simple practice, performed consistently, attunes your energy field to the eternal abundance that flows through all commercial exchange. Chapter 4: Your Energetic Signature. In a small village nestled among rolling hills, Harold the clockmaker spent his days crafting intricate timepieces in his workshop. Over years of patient observation, he noticed a peculiar pattern. The watches and clocks he created during moments of joy and contentment seemed to possess an inexplicable quality. They not only kept more accurate time, but attracted wealthy buyers who gladly paid premium prices. Through careful documentation, Harold confirmed that timepieces made during his happiest hours sold for nearly twice the price of those crafted in moments of frustration or sadness. The metal, gears, and craftsmanship remained identical, yet something invisible had transferred from his emotional state into the very essence of his creations. Every human radiates a unique energetic pattern, as distinctive as a fingerprint, yet invisible to ordinary sight. This signature emerges from the complex interplay of beliefs about money inherited from ancestors, emotional memories of past financial experiences, and deep-seated attitudes toward wealth that operate in the shadows of consciousness. Like a radio signal broadcasting continuously into the universe, this energetic imprint attracts or repels monetary experiences that match its frequency. Just as water takes the shape of its container, money flows according to the energetic vessel created by your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Those who struggle financially often carry unconscious signatures of lack, worry, or unworthiness, while naturally prosperous individuals radiate patterns of abundance regardless of their current circumstances. In another village, Eleanor's bakery attracted crowds each morning as the scent of fresh bread wafted through cobblestone streets. She discovered that loaves kneaded while feeling grateful sold quickly at full price, while those made during moments of anxiety often remained on shelves until marked down. Though using identical ingredients and recipes, her emotional state during preparation seemed to infuse the bread with an energetic quality that customers could sense. One morning, while feeling particularly appreciative, Eleanor watched in amazement as customers insisted on paying extra for her bread, claiming it carried special nourishment they couldn't find elsewhere. Through this experience, she understood that her inner state created an invisible imprint that influenced every financial exchange in her business. To transform your own energetic signature, stand before a mirror each morning for 3 minutes. Look into your eyes and speak aloud positive truths about your relationship with money. I am worthy of abundance. Money flows easily into my life. I attract prosperity naturally. This practice gradually reshapes your financial frequency, broadcasting a new signal that draws wealth rather than repelling it. Chapter 5: The Bloodline of Gold. In a quiet village surrounded by ancient forests, William spent his days crafting furniture in a modest workshop, barely earning enough to sustain himself. Despite his skilled hands and dedication to his craft, financial success remained elusive. One autumn evening, while clearing his grandmother's attic, he discovered a weathered logbook filled with detailed sketches of magnificent ships. The journal belonged to his great-grandfather, a renowned shipbuilder whose vessels had sailed the world's oceans. As William studied the intricate drawings and notes, he felt a deep connection to his ancestors' mastery of woodworking. He began incorporating elements of shipbuilding techniques into his furniture, and something extraordinary happened. Wealthy merchants started commissioning his pieces, praising the unique maritime influence in his designs. Within months, his workshop flourished, echoing his great-grandfather's prosperity. The flow of money through family lines follows patterns as old as time itself. Like underground streams carrying minerals through soil, financial energies course through bloodlines, transmitting both abundance and scarcity consciousness across generations. These inherited templates shape your relationship with wealth at levels deeper than conscious awareness, creating recurring patterns that persist until acknowledged and transformed. In a distant market town, Catherine sat at her loom, weaving intricate tapestries while contemplating her family's history of financial hardship. For centuries, the women in her lineage had created beautiful textiles yet remained in poverty. Through meditation, she received guidance to honor her ancestors' artistic gifts while releasing their beliefs about the incompatibility of creativity and prosperity. Each morning before dawn, Catherine lit a candle and spoke words of gratitude for her family's artistic legacy. She then consciously released the old story that beauty and abundance couldn't coexist. Gradually, wealthy patrons began seeking her work, paying handsomely for her tapestries. The ancient pattern of poverty dissolved, transformed by her conscious engagement with her lineage. Your own financial reality carries the imprint of generations past. Inexplicable money blocks, recurring financial difficulties, or deeply held beliefs about wealth often originate in ancestral experiences rather than personal history. These patterns remain active until consciously transformed through awareness and ritual. To shift these inherited patterns, create a small altar in your home dedicated to ancestral prosperity. Place symbols of abundance, coins, gems, or images of success, alongside family photographs or heirlooms. Each morning, light a candle and spend 5 minutes expressing gratitude for your lineage's positive contributions, while consciously releasing any inherited poverty consciousness through simple statements of forgiveness and release. This practice helps rewrite the energetic code of your family's relationship with money, opening new channels for prosperity to flow through your life. Chapter 6. The Merchant's Golden Ratio. In a bustling marketplace along the ancient Silk Road, Frederick stood before his grain storehouse, puzzling over his ledgers. For years he had noticed a peculiar pattern. Certain quantities of grain, when traded in specific proportions, yielded remarkable profits, while others consistently resulted in losses. His fellow merchants attributed this to mere chance, but Frederick sensed a deeper mystery at work. One evening, while studying the spiral pattern of seeds in a sunflower from his fields, Frederick noticed how they arranged themselves in perfect mathematical sequences. This observation led him to examine his most profitable trades, revealing that they all followed similar proportional relationships found in nature. When he adjusted his transactions to mirror these divine ratios, his wealth multiplied exponentially. Throughout the cosmos, sacred mathematical proportions govern the flow of energy and matter. From the arrangement of leaves on a stem to the spiral arms of galaxies, these divine ratios create harmony and sustainable growth. The same principles apply to the movement of money. When financial exchanges align with these cosmic mathematics, abundance flows naturally and multiplies effortlessly. In the markets of Damascus, Grace sold her carefully woven cloths, struggling to price them appropriately. Each night, mysterious dreams filled her mind with geometric patterns and numbers. Following her intuition, she began pricing her goods according to these dream-inspired proportions. Her fellow merchants thought her mad until her business began to flourish beyond imagination. Grace discovered that when she priced her finest silks at 1.618 times her basic cotton goods, customers eagerly purchased both. When she arranged her display using the same proportions, wealthy buyers seemed drawn to her stall as if by magnetic force. By aligning with these mathematical principles, she had tapped into the very patterns that govern prosperity throughout nature. The ancient mystics understood that money, like everything in creation, follows precise mathematical laws. These sacred proportions appear in the ratio between a tree's branches, the measurements of great temples, and the distances between planets. When applied to commerce and wealth building, they create a resonance with the universe's inherent abundance. To harness this timeless wisdom, select one financial decision this week, perhaps pricing a service or planning an investment. Calculate the golden ratio by multiplying any base number by 1.618. Apply this proportion to your chosen transaction, while contemplating how this sacred mathematics connects your financial activities to the infinite patterns of prosperity flowing through all creation. Through this practice, you align your money matters with the same divine proportions that govern the growth of flowers and the dance of celestial bodies. Chapter 7. The Energy Exchange. Charles led his finest stallions through the dusty marketplace, observing how different buyers approached his horses. Over years of trading, he noticed something extraordinary. Beyond the exchange of coins and animals, an invisible current flowed between himself and those who purchased his steeds. When he maintained a spirit of goodwill and genuine care for both beast and buyer, transactions seemed blessed with an inexplicable vitality that benefited everyone involved. Through careful observation, Charles discovered that money served as more than mere metal. It conducted the very essence of life force between parties. When he consciously directed positive energy and pure intention through each exchange, his horses thrived in their new homes while his business prospered beyond measure. The coins themselves seemed to carry the imprint of this benevolent energy, attracting more opportunities for mutual benefit. Money functions as a vessel for consciousness itself. Each transaction creates an energetic circuit through which life force flows between participants. When approached with awareness, every financial exchange becomes an opportunity to direct this vital current toward the highest good of all involved. Those who understand this principle transform ordinary commerce into sacred exchanges that multiply abundance naturally. Along the trading routes, Dorothy ran a modest inn where merchants sought rest. Initially struggling to maintain steady business, she stumbled upon a profound truth about the flow of money through her establishment. Each evening, as travelers paid for lodging, she began blessing the coins received while sending silent gratitude to her guests for choosing her inn. To her amazement, this simple practice created invisible threads of positive energy that seemed to weave through the community. Travelers reported feeling unexpectedly refreshed after staying at her inn, eagerly recommending it to others. Her revenues increased steadily as the energetic loops of appreciation and blessing attracted more guests who paid premium rates willingly. Every monetary exchange in your life carries this same potential for conscious energy direction. Whether paying for services or receiving compensation, you participate in an exchange of life force that can be guided toward greater abundance for all. By approaching each transaction as a sacred opportunity to circulate positive energy, you transform mundane financial dealings into powerful conduits for prosperity. For the next 7 days, practice blessing every financial transaction you encounter. When paying others, silently direct gratitude and goodwill through the exchange. When receiving payment, send appreciation and positive energy to those who compensate you. Notice how this conscious circulation of beneficial energy begins to transform your relationship with money and those you engage with commercially. Chapter 8: The Poverty Spell. Ralph's skilled hands could transform raw lumber into exquisite furniture, yet his workshop remained eerily empty of customers. Despite his masterful craftsmanship, bills piled up and opportunities slipped away like sawdust through his fingers. Each morning he muttered the same phrases. "Nobody appreciates quality anymore, and I'll never get ahead in this business." One autumn evening, while organizing his tools, Ralph overheard an old merchant speaking to his apprentice about the power of words. The merchant explained how every utterance carried energy that shaped reality like invisible threads weaving through the fabric of existence. Suddenly, Ralph realized he had been casting daily spells of scarcity, his complaints forming barriers that drove away prosperity. With deliberate effort, Ralph began catching himself mid-complaint. He replaced "I can't afford this" with "money flows to me easily." When thoughts of struggle arose, he consciously shifted to visions of abundance. Within weeks, customers appeared as if drawn by an unseen force, and his once empty workshop buzzed with activity. The universe responds to energy carried in thoughts and words with mathematical precision. Each negative statement about money creates an energetic barrier, while positive declarations open channels for wealth to flow. Most people unconsciously weave spells of limitation through habitual speech patterns, unknowingly constructing the very financial prison they long to escape. Helen inherited more than her mother's sewing patterns. She inherited generations of poverty consciousness. "We've always struggled, and money doesn't grow on trees," echoed through her childhood. Her nimble fingers could create beautiful garments, yet financial success remained elusive until she understood the power of her words. Systematically, Helen began dismantling her family's poverty spell. Each time an old phrase surfaced, "I can't charge that much," or "nobody will pay for quality anymore," She immediately countered with, "My work attracts abundant compensation and customers value excellence." Gradually, the invisible walls of financial limitation crumbled and her business flourished. For 3 days, observe every thought and word regarding money. Notice how often you unconsciously cast spells of limitation. Replace each negative statement with a positive affirmation, consciously breaking the poverty enchantments that have shaped your financial reality. Your words weave your future. Choose them with awareness and purpose. Chapter 9. The Wealth Guardians. In a bustling market town, Edward's small shop teetered on the edge of ruin. His shelves held the finest imported spices, yet customers passed by without a glance. One evening, as he prepared to close his empty store, an elderly woman wrapped in a weathered shawl entered. Instead of purchasing anything, she studied him intently. "Your wealth guardians have withdrawn their favor," she declared, her eyes gleaming with ancient wisdom. "Each person's prosperity is watched over by invisible beings who test the heart before opening the gates of abundance." She taught Edward to create a small shrine in his storeroom, leaving offerings of fresh water, fragrant herbs, and coins given in gratitude. Each morning and evening, he spoke words of appreciation to these unseen allies, acknowledging their role in the flow of wealth. Within days, customers began discovering his shop as if guided by an invisible hand. The sacred relationship between humans and wealth guardians stretches back to antiquity. These spiritual entities serve as gatekeepers of prosperity, carefully observing how individuals handle money, treat others in business dealings, and maintain integrity in financial matters. When they witness alignment with divine principles of commerce, they remove energetic blockages and create bridges to opportunity. These guardians respond not to desperate pleas or manipulation, but to genuine spiritual development and conscious partnership. They test individuals through financial challenges, watching for signs of wisdom, generosity, and ethical behavior before granting access to greater abundance. Patricia's small bakery struggled until she learned of these ancient allies. Each morning before dawn, she began leaving fresh bread and golden honey in a special corner of her kitchen, accompanied by heartfelt prayers of gratitude. She noticed subtle changes. Regular customers brought friends, coincidental opportunities arose, and her simple offerings seemed to return multiplied in mysterious ways. The wealth guardians began actively supporting her business, guiding ideal customers to her door and protecting her from unfavorable deals. Her reverence for these spiritual forces transformed her relationship with money itself, shifting from anxiety to sacred partnership. To establish your own connection with these timeless allies, create a dedicated space in your home or workplace. Place symbols of prosperity, coins, crystals, or meaningful objects, on a clean cloth. Each morning offer fresh water, grains, or flowers while expressing gratitude for their guidance. Speak respectfully of your financial goals and request their assistance in achieving them through ethical means. Maintain this practice daily, demonstrating your commitment to working in harmony with these invisible forces that govern the flow of abundance. Chapter 10. The First Awakening. In the quiet dawn hours, Arthur knelt before his forge, not to work metal but to seek inner guidance through meditation. As his breathing deepened and his mind stilled, an extraordinary vision unfolded. The coins in his workshop transformed before his inner eye, no longer appearing as solid discs of metal but as swirling streams of radiant golden light. Each piece of currency pulsed with living energy, connected to an infinite web of abundance that spanned the entire universe. This profound shift in perception marked the beginning of Arthur's journey from struggling craftsman to prosperous master of his trade. As he learned to work with money as pure energy, Rather than mere physical objects, his forge became a sacred space where abundance flowed naturally and effortlessly. When you recognize money's true nature as energy rather than matter, the illusory barriers between prosperity and scarcity dissolve. This awakening activates dormant abilities to perceive and direct the invisible currents of abundance that surround you at all times. Like water flowing through hidden springs beneath the earth, money energy moves according to spiritual laws that become apparent only when you transcend the material perspective. In the bustling marketplace, Virginia arranged her vegetables as she did every morning. Yet on this day, something had changed in her vision. Each coin and bill that passed through her hands emanated a distinct energetic signature. Some radiated warm, golden light that invigorated her spirit, while others carried dark, stagnant energy that felt heavy and depleting. Through careful observation, Virginia learned to cleanse negative energy from currency by placing it in sunlight or passing it through the smoke of sacred herbs. She began charging money with positive intentions before sending it back into circulation, creating ripples of abundance that returned to her multiplied. Her stand soon became known as a place where transactions left both buyer and seller feeling enriched and uplifted. Your own journey of awakening to money's energetic nature will unfold uniquely, yet certain signs universally mark this transformation. You may notice increased synchronicities around financial opportunities, enhanced intuition about timing of transactions, or a natural ability to attract resources needed for your highest good. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Hold a piece of money in your hands and close your eyes. For 15 minutes, focus your attention on feeling the energy emanating from the currency. Allow your perception to shift beyond its physical form, sensing the living currents of abundance flowing through it. Connect with the infinite source from which all prosperity originates, knowing you are one with this eternal flow of wealth. Part 2. Mastering the Currents of Abundance. Chapter 11. The Sacred Counting Chamber. In the heart of an ancient trading city, Theodore's fortunes had dwindled to near nothing. His once prosperous silk business teetered on collapse, driving him to seek wisdom in forgotten places. During his prayers at an old temple, he noticed peculiar markings on the floor, symbols that, when traced, revealed a hidden stairway descending into darkness. Below, Theodore discovered a circular chamber lined with crystalline walls. Ancient scrolls revealed this sacred space had served as a meditation sanctuary where mystics performed precise counting rituals to tap into the universal flow of abundance. Following the scroll's guidance, Theodore learned to quiet his mind while visualizing streams of golden light, counting each breath in specific patterns that aligned with cosmic rhythms of prosperity. The universe operates through precise mathematical principles that govern the flow of all abundance. When you align your consciousness with these sacred frequencies through specific meditation practices, you establish a direct channel to the source of all material wealth. This ancient technique, preserved through mystery schools across millennia, allows you to transcend physical limitations and access the infinite wellspring from which all prosperity emerges. Through controlled breathing, focused visualization, and sacred counting sequences, you enter an altered state of consciousness where the barriers between material and spiritual realms dissolve. In this exalted space, you can perceive and direct the currents of abundance that constantly flow through creation, drawing them into physical manifestation through your focused intention. In another part of the city, Millicent's wool shop struggled until she learned of these sacred practices. Converting her storage room into a meditation chamber, she dedicated herself to daily counting rituals. As she sat in silence each morning, Golden streams of light appeared in her mind's eye, flowing toward her business like rivers of molten abundance. Within weeks, merchants from distant lands inexplicably arrived seeking large quantities of her wool. Orders multiplied, profits soared, and Millicent understood the power of connecting directly to abundance's source through sacred meditation, the ancient counting practice. Create a dedicated meditation space in your home or workplace. Sit in silence for 20 minutes each day, breathing deeply while visualizing yourself in a crystalline chamber beneath an ancient temple. Count your breaths in sequences of 8 while drawing in golden light with each inhalation. Feel yourself merging with the infinite source of all abundance, knowing that as you align with these sacred rhythms, prosperity naturally flows into your physical reality. Chapter 12, The Alchemist's Heart. In a small village renowned for its metalwork, Franklin spent his days crafting ornate bronze vessels, yet struggled to maintain steady income. His fortunes changed when an elderly alchemist, clothed in mysterious robes, visited his workshop. Rather than discussing metals and fire, the alchemist spoke of a different kind of transformation. Your emotions, the alchemist explained, are more potent than any flame in your forge. They transmute the very essence of what you attract. He demonstrated by having Franklin craft 2 identical pieces, one while feeling frustrated, the other while experiencing joy. When placed in the marketplace, the joy-infused piece sold for 3 times the price. The ancient wisdom of emotional alchemy reveals that your heart generates magnetic fields far more powerful than your thoughts alone. These emotional frequencies broadcast continuous signals into the universal field, attracting circumstances that match their vibration. Fear, worry, and scarcity-based emotions act as repellents to prosperity, while gratitude, excitement, and abundance-based feelings serve as powerful attractors. Just as an alchemist transforms base metals into gold, you possess the innate ability to transmute limiting emotional states into frequencies that resonate with wealth. This transformation occurs not through force or suppression, but through conscious awareness and intentional shifting of your emotional energy. In a neighboring village, Constance crafted pottery for the local market. When faced with a sudden shortage of clay, rather than succumbing to panic, she consciously shifted her emotional state to one of excited anticipation. Within days, a traveling merchant arrived with an exotic clay that her customers preferred, doubling her usual profits. She discovered that each financial challenge presented an opportunity to practice emotional alchemy. When vendors raised their prices, instead of feeling victimized, she cultivated feelings of abundance and innovation, consistently finding better materials at lower costs. When competitors opened nearby, she transformed anxiety into enthusiasm, using the situation to refine her craft and attract more discerning clients. This ancient practice of emotional alchemy operates in your own life through every financial interaction. Each bill, transaction, or money-related decision carries an emotional charge. By mastering the art of transmuting these emotions, you transform the very foundation of your relationship with abundance. The practice. Identify your most frequent negative emotion regarding money, perhaps anxiety about bills or resentment about prices. Spend 5 minutes daily with your hand on your heart, breathing deeply. Feel this emotion fully, then consciously transform it into gratitude, allowing appreciation to fill your entire being. This emotional alchemy gradually shifts your prosperity frequency, attracting new financial possibilities. Chapter 13, The Gratitude Gateway. In a small village nestled among rolling hills, Walter the cobbler plied his ancient trade, mending shoes and crafting leather goods with skilled hands passed down through generations. Each morning, He opened his modest shop with a curious ritual, holding each coin from the previous day's earnings and expressing heartfelt thanks for the trust and exchange it represented. Over time, Walter noticed something extraordinary. Wealthy merchants began appearing at his door, though his shop lay far from the main trading routes. Nobles sought him out for custom boots, despite grander establishments in the city. The more deeply he appreciated each transaction, the more prosperity flowed through his humble workshop. Money responds to the magnetic force of genuine gratitude, moving like water toward those who truly appreciate its presence. Most attempt to practice gratitude from the surface level of the mind, reciting empty phrases without feeling the deep current of appreciation that actually shifts energy. True gratitude emerges from the heart's core, creating spiraling vortexes that draw abundance naturally toward you. When you express shallow thanks while harboring resentment about prices or anxiety about lack, you generate conflicting frequencies that cancel out gratitude's magnetic power. The universe responds not to words, but to the authentic vibration of your appreciation. In a bustling port city, Beatrice kept a small tavern inherited from her father. Rather than simply collecting payments, she began blessing each coin and bill with genuine thanks, not just for the money itself, but for the entire exchange of value it represented. She appreciated the farmers who grew the grain for her ale, the brewers who crafted it, and the customers who chose her establishment. Soon, sailors spoke of an inexplicable pull toward her tavern. Merchants found themselves walking extra blocks past larger establishments to drink at her simple bar. Though she never advertised, her business flourished beyond explanation. Years later, a traveling mystic revealed how her genuine gratitude had created powerful energy currents that drew people and prosperity naturally to her door. The practice each morning: write down 3 specific aspects of your current financial situation that spark genuine appreciation. Rather than generic statements, choose precise details: the reliability of regular income, the skill that earns your wages, or even the learning opportunities within financial challenges. Spend several minutes feeling the gratitude deeply in your body, allowing appreciation to expand beyond mere thoughts into full emotional resonance. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Sacred Spending Rituals. In the sun-baked markets of an ancient trading city, Oliver carefully weighed portions of grain for his customers. Unlike other merchants who rushed through transactions, he approached each sale and purchase with the reverence of a temple priest. Before spending any coins, he would hold them in his palms, close his eyes, and whisper ancient blessings passed down through generations of traders. When purchasing new grain stores, Oliver performed elaborate ceremonies that drew curious stares from fellow merchants. Yet none could deny the mysterious prosperity that followed his practices. Every investment he made seemed to multiply, as if guided by an invisible hand. Where others lost money in failed ventures, Oliver's blessed transactions invariably returned increased profits. Money holds within it the seeds of multiplication, but these seeds must be activated through sacred intention. Each time you spend money, you engage in an energy exchange that can either diminish or expand your wealth depending on the consciousness you bring to the transaction. The ancients understood that spending is not meant to deplete resources, but to circulate energy in ways that generate greater abundance. When you transform spending into sacred ritual, you shift from unconscious consumption to conscious creation. Each purchase becomes an offering to the universal flow of prosperity, carrying your intentions for multiplication into the invisible realms where wealth is generated. Through specific blessing practices, you can ensure that every dollar spent returns to you multiplied, creating an endless cycle of expanding abundance. In another market square, Prudence developed her own sacred purchasing practices. Before buying new cloth for her shop, she would cleanse the money with sacred herbs and speak specific invocations over the coins. She maintained a small altar in her counting room where she blessed each transaction, recording her intentions in an ornate ledger. Other merchants laughed at her elaborate rituals until they noticed how her seemingly ordinary purchases consistently led to extraordinary profits. A bolt of cloth, blessed through her ceremony, would attract wealthy customers within days. Inventory bought with sacred intention seemed to sell faster and at higher prices than identical goods obtained through ordinary transactions. The practice: select one regular expense this week, perhaps groceries or household items. Before making the purchase, hold the money or payment card in both hands. Close your eyes and speak a blessing of multiplication over it. Set a clear intention for how this expenditure will generate greater abundance in your life. Express genuine gratitude for the exchange about to take place. Complete the transaction mindfully, maintaining awareness of its sacred nature. Record the date and amount, watching for how this blessed expense returns to you multiplied in unexpected ways. Chapter 15. The River's Return. In a valley blessed with abundant wheat fields, Clarence the miller discovered a truth that transformed his understanding of prosperity. While other millers hoarded their grain during plentiful seasons, Clarence began an unusual practice. He would measure out precise portions of his finest flour, never random amounts, but carefully calculated quantities based on ancient numerical principles he had learned from a traveling sage. During the harvest moon, he distributed these measured portions to neighboring villages, noting how each gift seemed to create invisible ripples in the fabric of abundance. Within months, his mill attracted twice the usual customers. His grinding stones appeared to yield more flour from the same amount of grain, and his storehouse remained mysteriously full despite his generous giving. The universe operates through precise laws of energetic exchange. When you give money or resources with conscious intention, you activate powerful currents of reciprocity that multiply your original gift. This is not mere charity, but rather a sophisticated practice of energy management that the wealthy have quietly employed for millennia. Just as water must flow both in and out to maintain its freshness, money must circulate through specific channels to generate increased abundance. The amount given matters less than the mathematical precision and conscious intention behind the giving. When you understand these principles, every act of generosity becomes an investment in expanding prosperity rather than a depletion of resources. In a bustling market town, Cordelia the seamstress applied these same principles through careful tithing of her earnings. She maintained detailed records of her giving, allocating exact percentages to various causes based on ancient wisdom about the mathematics of abundance. 10% to the temple, 7% to education of young seamstresses, and 3% to travelers in need. As she followed these precise formulas, remarkable changes occurred in her business. Wealthy patrons began requesting her finest work, offering payment far above her usual rates. Anonymous gifts appeared at her door: rolls of exotic silk, boxes of golden thread, and commissions from distant lands. Her calculated generosity had created invisible channels through which abundance now flowed freely. The practice: select a specific amount of money. It need not be large, but it must be precise. During the waxing moon, Give this amount while visualizing it as pure golden light flowing from an eternal spring. See clearly how this stream returns to you as a mighty river of prosperity, multiplied by the sacred laws of energetic exchange. Maintain this visualization for several minutes after completing the giving, allowing the energy to fully circulate through the universal channels of abundance. Chapter 16. The Seasons of Gold. In the fertile valley of the great river, Jasper tended his fields with an understanding that went beyond mere agriculture. While other farmers planted whenever they had seeds ready, Jasper studied the subtle rhythms of nature. He noticed that seeds planted during certain phases of the moon grew more abundantly, and crops harvested at specific times fetched higher prices at market. Over years of careful observation, Jasper realized these same patterns governed all forms of abundance. Business opportunities, like crops, required planting during energetic springtimes when new ventures naturally took root. Wealth, like autumn harvests, arrived in predictable cycles for those who understood nature's timing. Money flows through creation following the same rhythms that guide the tides, seasons, and celestial movements. Each day carries specific energetic qualities that either support or hinder financial activities. The moon's phases influence the flow of abundance just as they control the ocean's ebb and flow. Years move through cycles of expansion and contraction that wise merchants have observed since ancient times. Morning hours carry fresh manifestation energy ideal for initiating new financial ventures. Evening times support reviewing and planning future abundance. The waxing moon phase amplifies growth energy for investments and business expansion, while the waning moon favors clearing debts and releasing old financial patterns. In the bustling port city of Azure Bay, Evangeline applied this timing wisdom to her trading activities. She purchased new inventory only during the waxing moon, noting how these goods seemed to attract eager buyers naturally. Major business decisions waited for favorable planetary alignments that the ancients had mapped in forgotten scrolls. Other merchants watched in amazement as Evangeline's success grew with seemingly supernatural consistency. Her shop thrived while others struggled, yet she simply smiled, knowing she had aligned herself with the natural cycles of prosperity rather than fighting against them. Through daily observation, you can discover your personal financial seasons, times when abundance flows easily, and periods requiring careful conservation of resources. These patterns reflect universal rhythms operating through your individual energy field. The practice: keep a detailed journal for one complete lunar cycle, 29.5 days, recording all financial experiences including note patterns that emerge, revealing your optimal times for different financial activities. Use this knowledge to align future prosperity actions with your personal abundance cycles. Chapter 17. The Prosperity Talismans. In the bustling markets of an ancient trading city, Mortimer walked among the stalls with a peculiar collection of items inherited from his grandfather: a weathered brass compass, a jade pendant, and 3 copper coins strung on a red cord. Unremarkable objects to the casual observer, yet they seemed to pulse with an invisible energy that transformed his fortunes wherever he traveled. At first, Mortimer attributed his sudden success to luck. Yet he noticed that whenever he carried these items, potential buyers would approach him unbidden, eager to strike favorable deals. The objects appeared to create a magnetic field of prosperity that drew opportunities toward him like moths to flame. Through meditation and study of ancient texts, Mortimer discovered that certain items naturally accumulate and concentrate money energy through repeated exposure to commercial exchanges. Coins that passed through countless prosperous transactions, gems that adorned wealthy merchants, symbols carved with sacred prosperity sigils. All these objects became reservoirs of abundance energy over time. The most powerful prosperity talismans combined both material and spiritual elements. Precious metals that conducted energy well, sacred geometrical patterns that amplified abundance frequencies, and stones that resonated with wealth vibrations. Yet their true power emerged only when activated by conscious intention and regular energetic cleansing. In another part of the city, Temperance arranged her herb shop according to these principles. She placed ancient coins at the four corners, hung prosperity symbols above the entrance, and positioned crystals near her money box. Soon, customers lingered longer, spent more freely, and returned frequently with others. The energetic field created by her carefully chosen talismans transformed the entire space into a prosperity vortex. Yet Temperance understood that these objects merely amplified the abundance consciousness she cultivated within herself. The talismans served as focal points for her own creative power rather than independent sources of wealth. Through this wisdom, she avoided the common mistake of relying on external objects while neglecting internal transformation. The practice. Choose one object to become your personal prosperity talisman. This may be a coin, crystal, symbol, or any item that resonates with abundance energy. Each day, hold this object while visualizing golden light flowing into it from the infinite source of all wealth. Place it where you conduct financial activities or carry it with you during business dealings, allowing it to amplify your money attraction abilities while remembering that your consciousness remains the true source of manifestation power. Chapter 18. Breaking the Scarcity Chains. In a small village nestled among rolling hills, Bartholomew crafted exquisite silver pieces that caught the eye of every passerby. His skill with precious metals was unmatched, yet his workshop remained eerily empty of customers. Despite creating the most beautiful jewelry in 3 provinces, he could barely afford bread for his table. Late one night, as moonlight filtered through his workshop window, Bartholomew caught a glimpse of something strange in his reflection. Ethereal chains, glowing with a dull gray light, wrapped around his body. In that moment of clarity, he understood these chains represented the limiting beliefs he had absorbed as a child, watching his parents struggle daily for survival. Money is scarce, they had told him. Wealth is only for the privileged few. We'll never escape poverty. These beliefs had formed invisible bonds, constraining his ability to receive abundance despite his remarkable talents. Through ancient meditation practices passed down by a traveling mystic, Bartholomew learned to visualize and dissolve these energetic chains. Each morning he would sit in silence, identifying another limiting belief and watching it dissolve in golden light. As each chain disappeared, his business mysteriously flourished. In a neighboring village, Cordelia wove tapestries of extraordinary beauty, yet lived in constant financial strain. Upon learning of chain-breaking rituals from her grandmother, she began a daily practice of releasing ancestral poverty programming. "I release the belief that struggle is noble," she would intone, watching another energetic chain dissolve. "I release the fear that wealth corrupts," she declared, as more limitations fell away. With each dissolved chain, new opportunities appeared. Wealthy merchants began commissioning her work. Her prices doubled, then tripled, yet customers eagerly paid them. The invisible barriers that had held back her prosperity crumbled one by one. These stories illuminate how limiting beliefs create actual energetic constraints around your financial reality. Like invisible chains, These beliefs restrict the flow of abundance into your life, no matter your talents or efforts. The most common chains include beliefs like money is hard to earn, wealth requires sacrifice, and I don't deserve abundance. The practice. Sit quietly in meditation and visualize golden chains around your body. Each chain represents a limiting belief about money. See them clearly. Some may be thick and rusty, others thin but strong. One by one, dissolve each chain using pure golden light while affirming, I release all limitations around receiving abundance. I am free to prosper. Continue until every chain has dissolved, feeling the lightness and freedom of unrestricted prosperity flow. Chapter 19. The Abundance Breath. Along the misty shores of an ancient coastline, Nathaniel cast his nets each dawn with diminishing returns. His weathered hands told the story of years spent battling the sea for an ever-shrinking catch, until a chance encounter with the mysterious coastal mystics changed everything. These enigmatic figures who lived in caves along the shoreline shared with him their sacred knowledge of prosperity breathing. They taught him that just as the tide ebbs and flows with breath-like rhythm, so too does abundance flow through specific breathing patterns. Your breath, they told him, is the bridge between the seen and unseen worlds. They showed him how to inhale the golden mist of prosperity that hung invisible over the waters, and exhale the gray vapors of lack that had clouded his vision for so long. With dedicated practice, Nathaniel's nets began to fill mysteriously. Fish seemed drawn to his boat, and merchants offered higher prices for his catch. His transformation caught the attention of other fishermen, but when they asked his secret, he simply smiled and took another deep, intentional breath. In the heart of the village, Felicity's small bakery underwent a similar transformation. Having learned the ancient breathing techniques from her grandmother, she incorporated them into her daily bread-making ritual. As she kneaded each loaf, she would inhale pure golden light for 4 measured counts, hold the energy as she worked the dough, then release all thoughts of scarcity with a 6-count exhale. Soon, customers began remarking that her bread tasted different, better somehow. They couldn't explain why they felt more prosperous after eating it, or why they found themselves ordering twice their usual amount. Felicity never raised her prices, yet customers spontaneously began paying more, insisting her bread was worth far more than she charged. Your breath holds this same transformative power. Each inhalation can draw in the infinite abundance of the universe, while each exhalation can release generations of poverty consciousness. This ancient technique works by aligning your energy field with the natural rhythms of prosperity that flow through all creation. The practice: find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Begin the prosperity breathing pattern. Inhale for 4 counts while visualizing golden light filling your body. Hold this light for 4 counts, feeling it saturate every cell. Then exhale for 6 counts, releasing all financial fears and limitations. Practice this pattern for at least 5 minutes daily, especially before engaging in any financial activities. Chapter 20. Healing the Money Wounds. In a bustling marketplace of old, Zachariah's stall once overflowed with exotic spices and precious silks. His success had come through years of careful trading and building trust with fellow merchants. Yet in one cruel season, his most trusted partner absconded with their joint fortune, leaving Zachariah destitute and broken. For 7 years he wandered from town to town, unable to rebuild his wealth despite his knowledge and skill. No matter how hard he worked, money seemed to slip through his fingers like water through a cracked vessel. It wasn't until he met an ancient healer in the desert that he understood the true nature of his struggle. The healer revealed that financial betrayals create invisible wounds in one's energy field. like tears in a fabric that continuously leak precious life force. These wounds remain open, draining away prosperity until properly healed. Through sacred rituals and focused meditation, Zachariah learned to seal these energetic injuries, gradually restoring his natural abundance flow. In another town lived Penelope, whose prosperous life shattered when her merchant husband's sudden death left her with mounting debts and a failing business. Each night, she wept over ledgers that reminded her of her loss, unaware that her grief was creating deeper wounds in her financial energy field. An old woman in the market recognized the signs of Penelope's money wounds and taught her the ancient arts of energetic healing. Each morning before dawn, Penelope sat in silence, visualizing golden light mending the tears in her abundance field. She learned to forgive both herself and her circumstances, watching as each act of emotional healing strengthened her prosperity flow. Gradually, opportunities began returning. Customers who had stopped coming years ago suddenly appeared with large orders. New ventures succeeded where before they had failed. Within 2 years, Penelope's wealth exceeded anything she had known during her marriage. These wounds exist within all who have experienced financial loss or betrayal. They manifest as persistent money problems, unexpected expenses, or an inability to retain wealth. Yet through conscious healing practices, these energetic injuries can be sealed, restoring your natural ability to attract and maintain abundance. The practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Recall your most painful financial memory, a betrayal, loss, or failure that still carries emotional charge. Visualize this experience surrounded by healing golden light. Breathe deeply as you send this light into every aspect of the memory, watching it seal any energetic wounds in your abundance field. Maintain this visualization for 10 minutes, feeling the wounds close as your natural prosperity flow restores itself. Part 3, Wielding the Sacred Power. Chapter 21, The Master's Vision. In the bustling port city of Alexandria, Augustus stood atop his merchant vessel, watching workers unload crates of precious spices and silk. His warehouses overflowed with wealth, yet something felt hollow in his success. One evening, as he counted his gold coins, an old sage appeared at his door. "You count what owns you," the sage observed, "rather than using what serves you." These words haunted Augustus for days until their meaning crystallized during meditation. He realized he had become a servant to his wealth, rather than its master. That night he dreamed of building schools where children could learn ancient wisdom, of creating gardens where the hungry could feed themselves, of establishing centers where the sick could heal. As Augustus began directing his wealth toward these visions, something extraordinary happened. His business decisions became clearer, opportunities multiplied, and resources appeared precisely when needed. He discovered that money flowed most abundantly when it served a purpose greater than personal gain. In another part of the city lived Seraphina, whose textile business supplied fine fabrics to noble houses throughout the empire. Walking through the streets one day, she encountered a group of orphaned children huddled in rags. That night, she used her finest silks to make clothes for them. This simple act awakened something within her. Seraphina began using her wealth and business connections to establish homes for orphaned children, ensuring they received education and care. She created a network of schools where young girls could learn the art of weaving, providing them skills for independence. As her attention shifted from accumulating wealth to expressing her soul's purpose, Seraphina noticed that her business grew effortlessly. New contracts appeared unexpectedly, valuable trade routes opened mysteriously, and her reputation spread far beyond Alexandria. The more she aligned her wealth with divine purpose, the more the universe seemed to support her endeavors. The practice. Find a quiet space and write down your soul's deepest purpose. Spend 15 minutes each day visualizing how greater abundance would allow you to serve this calling more fully. See yourself directing streams of wealth toward your highest vision, knowing that money becomes limitless when it serves divine purpose. Chapter 22. The Alchemist's Transformation. In the ancient city of Damascus, Cornelius bent over his workbench, surrounded by failed experiments and mounting debts. For years he had sought the legendary philosopher's stone, believing it would transform base metals into gold. One night, exhausted from another futile attempt, he fell into a strange trance. In this altered state, he witnessed something extraordinary. All possible versions of his life existing simultaneously, including ones where he had already achieved tremendous wealth. Upon awakening, Cornelius realized the philosopher's stone wasn't a physical object, but a state of consciousness. Through deep meditation, he learned to access this realm of pure possibility at will, selecting and manifesting the financial circumstances he desired. His transformation from poverty to prosperity happened so rapidly that others accused him of discovering secret gold mines. The core truth Cornelius uncovered was that physical reality emerges from a quantum field where all possibilities exist simultaneously. By mastering specific states of consciousness, anyone could bypass normal limitations and directly select their desired financial reality from this field of infinite potential. These consciousness techniques, passed down through mystery schools, allowed initiates to transform their circumstances through direct intervention at the quantum level. In the spice markets of Isfahan, Ophelia's herb stall teetered on the edge of bankruptcy. A wandering mystic taught her to enter specific trance states, during which she could perceive multiple versions of her business reality. Through these practices, she learned to consciously select the most prosperous possibilities, watching as they manifested in her physical experience. Within months, Ophelia's small stall transformed into a thriving enterprise. Debts that had seemed insurmountable simply dissolved as new opportunities appeared. Customers who had never noticed her before suddenly sought her out. She discovered that by accessing the quantum field of pure potential, she could reshape her financial reality more effectively than through any physical action. The practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Enter a deep meditative state through slow, rhythmic breathing. Visualize yourself stepping through a doorway into a realm of pure white light where infinite possibilities exist simultaneously. In this space, locate the version of your financial reality that you wish to experience. Feel yourself merging with this possibility, claiming it as your new reality. Maintain this state for at least 10 minutes, allowing the selected possibility to anchor itself in your consciousness. Chapter 23. The Magnet's Secret. In the bustling market town of Sheffield, Reginald's metalworking shop stood among dozens of competitors. While others struggled to attract customers, he discovered an ancient manuscript that revealed the secrets of energetic magnetism. Following its guidance, he began each dawn with specific movements to activate his body's energy centers, followed by careful purification of his thoughts through meditation. As Reginald systematically aligned his actions with the cosmic rhythms described in the manuscript, an extraordinary transformation occurred. Customers began appearing at his door without advertisement. Wealthy merchants sought him out for large commissions. Even when he moved his shop to a less prominent location, people found their way to him as if guided by an invisible force. The manuscript revealed that financial magnetism operated through three essential principles: energy activation, thought purification, and vibrational alignment. When these three elements were properly combined and practiced consistently, They created an irresistible attractive force that drew abundance naturally. In a distant village, Rosalind operated a modest inn that barely sustained her family. After learning these magnetic principles from a traveling sage, she dedicated herself to their practice. Each morning before dawn, she performed specific movements to activate her energy centers. Throughout the day, she maintained strict vigilance over her thoughts, immediately transforming any negative patterns into positive expectations. Within months, travelers began detouring miles from their planned routes, inexplicably drawn to her establishment. Merchants chose her inn over grander accommodations in larger towns. Her simple guest house became renowned throughout the region, attracting nobility who paid handsomely for the privilege of staying there. These principles of financial magnetism operate through systematic application rather than sporadic effort. The process begins with activating your body's natural energy centers through specific movements. This activation is followed by careful purification of thoughts, eliminating negative patterns that repel prosperity. Finally, vibrational alignment through gratitude practices creates resonance with universal abundance. The practice. Begin each day with a systematic magnetization ritual. First, activate your energy through 5 minutes of gentle swaying movements while visualizing golden light filling your body. Next, purify your thoughts by repeating prosperity affirmations for 5 minutes, replacing any negative patterns with positive expectations. Finally, spend 5 minutes in gratitude meditation, aligning your vibration with universal abundance. Perform this ritual consistently each morning, gradually building your magnetic power over time. Chapter 24: Wealth Without Shadows. In a remote monastery nestled among mist-shrouded mountains, Brother Benedict lived a life of strict austerity. Each morning he rose before dawn to tend the monastery gardens, accepting only the barest necessities for survival. His dedication to poverty seemed unshakable until one night, when a profound vision transformed his understanding of wealth's spiritual purpose. In his meditation, Brother Benedict witnessed countless souls suffering needlessly because those with the ability to help lacked resources to do so. A divine voice spoke clearly: "The rejection of abundance does not serve the light. When pure hearts command wealth, more souls find healing." This revelation shook Brother Benedict's foundational beliefs. He began studying ancient texts that revealed how spiritual masters throughout history had utilized material resources to expand their service to humanity. His investigation uncovered a pattern. The belief that spirituality required poverty often stemmed from misunderstanding money's true nature as divine energy in physical form. The core truth emerged. Many spiritual seekers unconsciously sabotage their prosperity through deeply held shadows of unworthiness, guilt, and confused interpretations of sacred teachings. These internal conflicts create energetic barriers that block the very resources needed to fulfill their divine purpose. In a distant village, Sister Magdalene's story reflected this same journey. As a gifted healer, she refused payment for her work, believing that charging for spiritual gifts was somehow impure. Yet her inability to sustain herself meant she could only help a fraction of those seeking her aid. Many nights she went hungry, her healing supplies ran low, and she could not travel to those in greatest need. Through prayer and contemplation, Sister Magdalene received clarity. By accepting abundant compensation for her gifts, she could establish a proper healing center, acquire better medicines, and train others in her arts. When she finally opened herself to receiving prosperity, her work expanded exponentially. Within a year, her healing center served hundreds where she had previously helped dozens. For those walking a spiritual path, these stories illuminate the essential understanding that true service often requires material resources. The practice of examining and releasing guilt around prosperity becomes a sacred act of clearing the channel for divine abundance to flow through. The practice is spend 30 minutes in sacred contemplation while writing 2 transformative letters. Begin with a letter of deep forgiveness to yourself, addressing and releasing any past judgments, shame, or inner criticism about desiring and receiving abundance. Pour your heart into acknowledging these old wounds around prosperity, knowing that in releasing them, you make space for greater truth. Then, compose a powerful affirmation letter that declares your divine birthright and spiritual responsibility to prosper abundantly in service of the highest good. Write with conviction about how your prosperity enables you to serve more fully, touch more lives, and manifest your sacred purpose in ever-expanding ways. Express your understanding that by allowing abundance to flow through you, you become a greater channel for divine work in the world. Place these letters in a prominent position on your altar or in your sacred space. Each morning for the next 21 days, read both letters slowly and mindfully, allowing their truth to penetrate deeply into your consciousness. As you do this daily practice, observe how any remaining conflicts between spirituality and wealth naturally dissolve, replaced by a profound knowing of your right to thrive while serving the greater good. Let each reading be a sacred ritual of transformation, opening you further to the infinite abundance of the universe. Chapter 25. The Prosperity Codes. In the grand halls of Alexandria's ancient library, Maximilian discovered weathered scrolls that would transform his understanding of wealth creation. As he meticulously translated the texts, patterns emerged revealing that history's most prosperous individuals shared distinct mental frameworks that transcended time and culture. The scrolls spoke of merchants, rulers, and traders who operated according to specific thought frequencies. These weren't mere habits or strategies, but fundamental consciousness patterns that shaped how they perceived and interacted with money. Maximilian noticed that these wealthy individuals processed information differently. They saw opportunities where others saw obstacles, recognized abundance where others fixated on scarcity. Through years of study, Maximilian identified precise mental codes that distinguished the prosperous from the struggling. The wealthy consistently operated from frameworks of possibility rather than limitation. They viewed money as a flowing river rather than a finite resource. Their minds naturally gravitated toward expansion rather than contraction. In a bustling market town, Arabella's modest seamstress shop provided a perfect laboratory for these principles. She began studying her wealthiest clients, observing how they thought about purchases, investments, and opportunities. Where she had once agonized over pricing her services, she noticed these clients focused on value creation. Where she had feared taking risks, they saw calculated opportunities for growth. Gradually, Arabella began adopting these mental patterns. She stopped asking, "Can I afford this?" and began asking, "How can I make this work?" She shifted from worrying about competition to focusing on unique value creation. As her consciousness aligned with these proven prosperity codes, her business transformed. Within months, her client list expanded, her prices increased naturally, and opportunities seemed to appear from nowhere. The true power of mental programming revealed itself in how automatically these new thought patterns began operating. Just as a computer runs on its installed operating system, the mind functions according to its programmed codes. By consciously installing prosperity programming, anyone can begin operating from the same mental frameworks that naturally generate wealth. The actionable practice invites you to become a devoted student of prosperity consciousness this week. Select one highly successful individual, whether someone you know personally or a public figure whose mindset you can study through their words and actions. Observe them carefully, as a botanist might study a rare flower, noting the subtle ways their thought patterns differ from conventional thinking. Your task is to identify 3 specific mental frameworks they consistently employ when approaching money, opportunities, and abundance. Perhaps they reflexively see setbacks as stepping stones, or instantly recognize the seed of opportunity within every challenge. Once you've identified these prosperity codes, begin consciously installing them in your own consciousness. When making financial decisions, pause and deliberately channel these thought patterns. Before planning your next business move or investment, ask yourself, how would my chosen mentor approach this situation? Practice these new mental habits with the dedication of a musician mastering a new instrument, knowing that with repetition, these prosperous thought patterns will become your natural operating system. Chapter 26, The Merchant's Inner Eye. In the bustling port city of Alexandria, Tobias stood at his merchant's stall, watching the flow of traders and customers with unusual perception. While others saw only the surface activities of commerce, his eyes had learned to perceive the subtle currents of opportunity that flowed invisibly through the marketplace. Years of disciplined practice had awakened this inner sight. Where once he saw only goods and coins, now he perceived shimmering threads of potential connecting seemingly unrelated events. A delayed shipment of spices, a visiting dignitary's arrival, and a change in the weather patterns wove together in his awareness, revealing profitable ventures that remained hidden to others. Through meditation and conscious development of his intuitive faculties, Tobias had learned to trust the quiet whispers of inner guidance that preceded every successful trade. He discovered that prosperity flowed most abundantly when he aligned his actions with these subtle promptings rather than relying solely on conventional business logic. In another part of the city, Henrietta's wool shop had become renowned not just for its fine materials, but for her uncanny ability to navigate complex business arrangements. She had developed the capacity to sense the energetic quality of potential partnerships and investments, feeling in her body the resonance or discord that foretold their outcomes. Before agreeing to any significant transaction, Henrietta would close her eyes and allow her inner perception to evaluate the opportunity. A warm expansion in her chest signaled profitable ventures, while a subtle contraction warned of hidden problems. Following this inner guidance, she avoided numerous ill-fated partnerships that later proved disastrous for others, while recognizing opportunities that brought unexpected prosperity. One particular morning, Henrietta felt drawn to purchase an unusually large quantity of rare dyed wool despite its high price. Within days, a group of foreign merchants arrived seeking exactly that type and quality, willing to pay premium prices. Her developed intuition had guided her to prepare for an opportunity before any logical indication of its approach. The ancient masters taught that every soul possesses these subtle faculties of financial perception, waiting to be awakened through conscious practice. Like a muscle strengthened through exercise, these intuitive abilities grow stronger with regular use and trust in their guidance. The practice begins with creating a sacred space of stillness each day. For 10 precious minutes, you must retreat from the world's clamor into deep meditation, allowing your thoughts to settle like leaves floating to the bottom of a clear pond. In this tranquil state, pose your query to the infinite wisdom that dwells within, that same knowing force that has guided seekers throughout the ages. Ask specifically for a single revelation regarding your financial path, whether it be an opportunity for abundance or an insight into your relationship with prosperity. The universe speaks in whispers, and you must attune your inner ear to receive its message. Once this divine guidance manifests, and it shall if your intention remains pure, you are called to demonstrate your faith through swift action. Within the cycle of a single sun, you must take at least one tangible step, however modest, in the direction of the wisdom received. For in this sacred dance between receiving and acting, between listening and doing, lies the alchemy of manifestation. Chapter 27. The Merchant's Sacred Space. In the ancient city of Damascus, Barnabas had built a reputation not just for his successful trading ventures, but for the mysterious power that seemed to emanate from his establishments. Those who entered his shop or home often remarked on the inexplicable sense of abundance they felt within those walls. What few knew was that Barnabas had transformed these spaces into sacred temples of prosperity through ancient consecration rituals passed down through generations of mystic merchants. Each morning before sunrise, Barnabas would walk the perimeter of his properties, sprinkling blessed water and chanting sacred verses. He positioned specific crystals and symbols at key energy points, creating invisible grids that amplified the natural flow of abundance. Through systematic application of these sacred principles, his spaces became powerful vortexes of manifestation where opportunities and wealth seemed to materialize from thin air. In the market district of the same city, Cordelia's modest bakery had become a legendary destination. The sweet aroma of fresh bread drew people in, but something more subtle kept them returning. Following guidance received in meditation, she had transformed her shop into a sacred space of prosperity consciousness. She placed ancient coins beneath the threshold, hung specific symbols in the cardinal directions, and maintained a small altar in the back room where she performed daily abundance rituals. The effects were undeniable. Travelers would inexplicably feel compelled to visit her bakery, often purchasing far more than they had planned. Regular customers reported that their own fortunes improved after establishing routines of buying her bread. The prosperity energy she had cultivated permeated every corner of her establishment, creating an irresistible field of abundance that touched all who entered. These practices reveal the profound truth that physical spaces can be programmed to attract and amplify prosperity energy. Through conscious application of sacred principles and regular ritual maintenance, any location can be transformed into a powerful manifestation sanctuary. The key lies not in the physical decorations, but in the invisible energetic architecture created through intention, dedication, and understanding of universal abundance laws. The practice: select a single room or area that resonates with your spirit to establish as your dedicated prosperity sanctuary. Begin this sacred process by thoroughly cleansing the space, not just physically, but energetically as well. Moving with purposeful steps, walk the perimeter clockwise while pausing at each corner to offer heartfelt blessings of gratitude and positive intention. Let your words flow naturally, speaking from your deepest truth. In the four corners and at the heart center of your chosen space, reverently place carefully selected symbols of abundance. These may include ancient coins passed down through generations, crystals that sing with prosperity energy, or deeply meaningful personal objects that represent wealth and success in your life. Each item should be chosen with careful intention, understanding that it serves as a beacon for universal abundance. Every morning, as the first rays of dawn pierce the sky, dedicate 5 minutes to activating and strengthening the abundance energy. Sit in peaceful meditation or offer sincere prayers within this consecrated space, allowing yourself to fully merge with its sacred vibrations. To preserve and amplify these powerful energies, Maintain your sanctuary's purity through regular energetic cleansing rituals and the conscious renewal of your prosperity intentions. This daily practice will steadily transform your chosen space into a magnetic vortex of abundance. Chapter 28. Money as Sacred Path. In the remote mountains of Tibet, Father Matthias served as treasurer of an ancient monastery perched high among the peaks. While other monks sought enlightenment through meditation and prayer, he discovered an unexpected path to spiritual awakening through his daily management of the monastery's finances. Each morning, Father Matthias would sit before the ledgers with the same reverence others brought to their meditation cushions. As he recorded donations, calculated expenses, and made financial decisions, he maintained complete presence and spiritual awareness. Over time, he realized that working with money energy had become a profound spiritual practice, offering insights and opportunities for growth that rivaled traditional contemplative disciplines. Through mindful attention to every transaction, Father Matthias witnessed how money energy flowed like a sacred river, carrying lessons of attachment, trust, and divine providence. His consciousness expanded as he recognized that each financial choice carried spiritual significance, each calculation offered an opportunity for deeper presence, and each challenge invited greater surrender to divine wisdom. In a distant valley, Mother Superior Agnes faced mounting financial difficulties at her convent. Rather than viewing these challenges as mere material concerns, she recognized them as spiritual initiations. When funds ran low for essential repairs, she gathered the sisters not to worry, but to pray. When donations decreased, she led them in gratitude practices rather than fear-based planning. Through this approach, Mother Agnes discovered that their financial challenges were actually disguised blessings, each difficulty perfectly designed to deepen their faith and understanding of universal principles. When the roof needed costly repairs, an unexpected benefactor appeared. When food supplies dwindled, local farmers began bringing surplus produce. Each apparent crisis revealed itself as a divine teaching, strengthening their trust in the perfect orchestration of universal abundance. The sisters learned to meet every financial situation with spiritual awareness, transforming their money management into a sacred practice. They blessed each coin that passed through their hands, maintained conscious presence during all transactions, and approached their bookkeeping as reverently as their daily prayers. Through this practice, their material needs were met with increasing ease, while their spiritual understanding deepened immeasurably. The practice, for 1 week, transformed every financial interaction into a sacred ceremony of divine communion. When paying bills, pause to infuse each payment with gratitude and blessing. As you make purchases, remain fully present to the exchange of universal energy flowing through currency. While reviewing accounts and balances, approach these numbers as holy symbols reflecting your connection to infinite abundance. Treat each monetary decision as an invitation for spiritual expansion. Before opening your wallet, take a conscious breath to align with divine wisdom. As you handle physical money, feel the sacred life force moving through these material tokens. Write checks or submit online payments with the same reverence you would bring to meditation or prayer. Let every transaction become a mindful ritual, whether depositing funds, calculating expenses, or simply thinking about your resources. See each dollar as a tangible expression of the universe's limitless prosperity. Transform routine financial tasks into profound opportunities for awakening, allowing even the simplest money matters to deepen your spiritual awareness and trust in divine providence. Chapter 29, The Golden Transmission. In the bustling markets of ancient Damascus, Master Solomon's presence carried a peculiar power. Merchants and customers alike found their fortunes mysteriously improving after encounters with him, though he rarely spoke of money or business. His mere proximity seemed to awaken dormant prosperity consciousness in others, as if his mastery of wealth radiated outward like warmth from a fire. Those who worked in his trading company invariably went on to establish successful ventures of their own. Competitors who initially resented his success found their own businesses flourishing after interactions with him. Even passing strangers reported sudden financial insights or opportunities following chance meetings with Master Solomon in the marketplace. This phenomenon of energetic transmission occurs when one has so thoroughly mastered the principles of prosperity that their very being becomes a catalyst for others' abundance. Like a tuning fork that brings nearby instruments into harmony, those who embody wealth consciousness naturally elevate the financial vibration of everyone around them. In the elegant manor houses of medieval Florence, Lady Beatrice hosted gatherings that became renowned throughout the region. Though business was never discussed at her dinner parties, guests consistently reported extraordinary financial developments in the weeks following their attendance. A struggling artist would receive an unexpected commission, a merchant would discover a profitable new trade route, or a craftsman would attract prestigious new patrons. Lady Beatrice never claimed credit for these transformations. She simply maintained an unwavering consciousness of abundance that naturally attuned others to their own prosperity potential. Her presence acted as a key that unlocked dormant wealth awareness in everyone she encountered. This transmission of prosperity consciousness happens through energetic resonance rather than intellectual teaching. When someone has fully integrated the principles of abundance, their energy field naturally uplifts others into greater alignment with wealth. Like a masterful musician who inspires better performance from the entire orchestra, their mastery elevates everyone around them. The actionable practice for cultivating this transformative state begins with a sacred 7-day commitment. For one complete cycle of the sun, you must consciously radiate waves of prosperity consciousness to every soul who crosses your path. As you interact with others, whether passing strangers on the street, colleagues at work, or loved ones at home, envision yourself as a brilliant beacon of abundance. See streams of luminous golden light flowing from your heart center directly into theirs, carrying with it the pure essence of infinite possibility and divine prosperity. Hold each person in your awareness as a vessel of unlimited potential, silently blessing them with the exact same abundance you wish to manifest. This practice transforms you into a living conduit of wealth consciousness, allowing universal prosperity to flow through you and touch all those you encounter. Chapter 30. Return to the Source. Saint Francis of Prosperity walked the ancient paths between merchant caravans, his presence radiating such extraordinary abundance that gold seemed to materialize from thin air around him. Yet his greatest revelation came not from mastering material wealth, but from the profound awakening that transformed his understanding forever. During deep meditation beneath an aging olive tree, he experienced the ultimate truth. He was not separate from the infinite source of abundance, but rather its direct expression in human form. This recognition dissolved all boundaries between himself and the eternal creative force that generates all prosperity throughout existence. He realized that seeking wealth externally was like waves searching for water when they themselves were the very ocean they sought. From that moment, St. Francis ceased trying to attract or manifest abundance, instead embodying the truth that he was abundance itself, expressing through human form. Through the ages, tales speak of the eternal merchant who appears in different times and places, sometimes as a wise trader in Damascus, other times as a mysterious benefactor in Venice or a sage investor in ancient China. Though the form changes, the essence remains constant, one who has fully remembered their true nature as unlimited abundance incarnate. This archetypal figure serves as a beacon, showing others what becomes possible when we recognize our identity as the source of all prosperity rather than its seeker. In the bustling markets of Isfahan, the eternal merchant appeared as a humble spice trader whose very presence transformed the consciousness of those around him. Yet he never spoke of wealth or offered financial advice. Instead, his complete embodiment of abundance naturally awakened others to their own infinite nature. Those who encountered him found themselves spontaneously releasing limiting beliefs, not through effort or practice, but through resonance with his realized state of being. This recognition reveals the ultimate purpose of your journey with money energy, not to acquire external wealth, but to remember your true nature as pure, creative consciousness, capable of manifesting any reality through conscious intention and spiritual alignment. Like a wave realizing it is the ocean, this awakening dissolves all sense of separation between you and the infinite source of abundance. The final practice invites you to enter a profound state of sacred contemplation for a full 30 minutes. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed, perhaps adorned with a simple candle or crystal, to anchor your meditation. As you settle into stillness, allow your awareness to gently explore the vast truth of your being, that you are not separate from the infinite ocean of abundance, but rather a divine expression of it. Like a ray of sunlight is one with the sun itself. Let each breath draw you deeper into this remembrance, dissolving the illusion of limitation that has clouded your perception. During this sacred time, hold in your heart the knowing that you are unlimited creative potential, taking human form. Feel this truth resonating in every cell of your body, in every thought that crosses your mind. When doubts or old patterns of scarcity consciousness arise, simply observe them with compassion and let them dissolve in the light of your expanded awareness. This is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a profound remembrance of your essential nature as pure, boundless abundance incarnate. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As the ancient manuscript's final pages settle into stillness, their golden wisdom resonates through the chambers of consciousness like echoes of eternal truth. The sacred knowledge contained within transcends mere financial instruction, representing a complete system for awakening humanity to its divine creative potential. These teachings have been carefully preserved and transmitted through generations of mystics, merchants, and spiritual masters who understood money's true nature as pure energy responding to consciousness. Each practice, ritual, and principle serves as a key unlocking deeper levels of prosperity consciousness, systematically dissolving the illusions that have kept humanity bound in cycles of lack and limitation. The ancient techniques revealed herein are not simple manifestation tools, but profound technologies for complete consciousness transformation designed to restore humanity's natural state of unlimited abundance. Those who integrate these sacred teachings demonstrate through their lived experience that another reality is possible, one where financial mastery serves spiritual awakening and abundance flows naturally to all who align with universal principles. Their prosperity becomes a beacon of possibility, showing others trapped in scarcity consciousness that liberation from financial struggle is not only possible, but is humanity's natural state. This wisdom carries great responsibility, for those who receive it become living examples that transcend the artificial divide between spiritual wealth and material abundance. They demonstrate how money can serve as a pure expression of divine creative intelligence when wielded with conscious awareness and aligned intention. The profound understanding that prosperity originates not from external sources, but from within transforms every financial interaction into an opportunity for expanded consciousness and deeper spiritual alignment. This awakening to one's true nature as the source of all abundance rather than its seeker marks the end of struggle and the beginning of conscious partnership with infinite creative intelligence. Through applying these ancient principles, each person becomes a channel through which unlimited prosperity flows in service of humanity's highest good. The understanding that financial mastery serves not only personal evolution, but the awakening of all beings ensures this wisdom will continue illuminating the path for those ready to transcend limitation and embrace their divine creative potential. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.